Going on, Big Blue Nation and sports fans everywhere, and welcome back to the BBN Report, where we talk all things college football and basketball. And today we have a Kentucky basketball preview for their upcoming game against Mount St. Mary's. But before we dive too deep into this preview for basketball, I want to shine some light on the success that other UK sports had over the weekend. You had the men's soccer team who won their Conference USA conference tournament over the weekend. You also had the women's volleyball team go 2-0 over the weekend, both matches sweeping Texas A&M. But unfortunately, you had the women's basketball team fall to Indiana last night. And of course, you had Kentucky with their bounce back win from the Duke loss over, drew a blank here, Robert Morris. And now that we're to this point, I think that Kentucky had their best performance of the overall season so far. And I'm talking through both exhibition games with Kentucky Wesleyan and Miles College, Duke, and then Robert Morris. I thought it was the most complete performance that Kentucky had on the season. I thought it was their best defensive performance so far this season. If you pay attention in the two exhibition games and the game against Duke, they really allowed a lot of dribble penetration into the paint. And it's something that really cost them during Duke, and it's another reason why Miles College was able to get a lot of open threes in their second exhibition game with them. But overall, I think Kentucky Friday night had their best performance of the season so far. And I understand it's Robert Morris. You know, Kentucky won 100-60 in that game, running away pretty easily. But it was a nice first game for me back in Rupp Arena, being a season ticket holder. Nice having a little stress-free night. Unlike a certain team 70 miles to the west. Let's go ahead and take a look at that. Oh, Louisville. You guys are just the gift that keeps on giving all year long. Every time you turn around, Louisville has another scandal. And then this time you turn around, they give you the gift of the Furman coming into the chicken bucket and beating them in overtime, much less. Now, Louisville, how do you let Furman come in there? You know, the mighty Furman Paladins, how do you let them come into what you call a chicken bucket, which is a dump over there in Louisville, and let them walk away with an overtime win against you guys? Man, I was just... not only did Kentucky have their best performance of the season so far, but you had Louisville getting beat by Furman of all places. That made the night just a little extra special, if you ask me. But back to a team in the state that actually matters. You know, overall, you had some really good games out of several Kentucky Wildcats. You had Oscar, who added 14 points and had a second consecutive 20-rebound game. That's 40 rebounds in his first two games as a Wildcat, which is the most in program history for rebounds in his first two games to start a career. But then you had Kellen Grady, who led the way with 19 points. Ty, who bounced back with a really good game with 10 points, going 5 of 10 from the floor. Then you had a great performance from Collins with 14, along with Keon Brooks adding, I believe, 13, making one of his better performances at Kentucky Wildcat. And I definitely think that, like I said in my preview video for Duke last week, I think that one of the keys for Kentucky to have a lot of success this year is one, staying out of foul trouble, especially Oscar, and then Keon Brooks developing him into the player that he really needs to be for this team to really get where they want to go. But luckily for you guys, I've done the scouting on Mount St. Mary's, so you guys didn't have to. Last season, St. Mary's was 12-11, 9-7 in conference play, but they did win their conference tournament, upsetting both Wagner and Bryant to win their Northeastern Conference tournament, which they would also ultimately get beat by Texas Southern in the first four of the NCAA tournament. They lost last year's leading scorer, Damian Chongqui, I think that's how you pronounce his name, but they brought back their second and third leading scorers with Nana Poku, who averaged 10 points last year, 10.2 points, 7 rebounds, and 2.1 blocks a game, and was the Northeastern Conference Defensive Player of the Year last year, along with, he's their clear leader on this team for this season. They were also able to bring back their third leading scorer in Mezzi Offerum, I think that's how you say his name, who averaged 9 points a game last year for the Mountaineers. Now, I'm sorry, it seems like I'm butchering these names. You guys always have real weird names, and I always mess all these up. But overall, this is a experienced team that's coming into Lexington tomorrow night. And I definitely think that's probably going to give Kentucky a little bit more of a game than what Robert Morris did Friday night. Now, I do think that this will be a blowout game, just like Robert Morris was. I think if Kentucky just plays to its potential and plays lockdown defense like they did Friday, they'll probably end up getting another 30 to 40 point win again. Now, I know it's always hard to beat a team by 30 to 40, but I just think Kentucky's just far too talented, and their depth is too much, along with their ability to shoot the three ball. And let's face it, so far in this season, it's looking like this is going to be Calipari's best three-point shooting team in Lexington, probably by a landslide. As for matchups in this game, I don't think you really have any matchups that's really worth diving into other than Opoku and Oscar. That'll probably be a pretty good matchup to watch because those are two really good defensive big men. But other than that, just the average height on St. Mary's is 6'5", so clearly Kentucky's going to have a height advantage at every single possession, creating a lot of mismatches. This is just not a game that St. Mary's, I think, will be able to be in and be really that competitive with. If you are a St. Mary's fan that happens to be watching this video, there is some bright side for St. Mary's this season. They are picked to finish third in the NEC behind Bryant and Wagner. We were the kind of the class for that conference going into this year, at least preseason-wise. So they do have a really good team, and they'll probably end up having a pretty good season overall. And I definitely think them winning their conference tournament last year and getting a little bit of taste of tournament was definitely going to be a big key to helping them this season. But overall, obviously, I don't think St. Mary's is going to win this game. I obviously think the Kentucky Wildcats will roll Tuesday night. And I think it'll be around a score of about 87 to 65, somewhere right around in that range. Maybe 80 to 65, give or take. But overall, I just think this is going to be a game that's going to be a runaway early. I just don't think that St. Mary's has the size or necessarily the shooting ability to really keep up with Kentucky in this game. It's same with the athleticism, the way Kentucky gets up and down the court really quickly this season, along with Severe Wheeler. I want to talk about him for a minute. That guy is how good of a point guard is Severe Wheeler, and I'm definitely very, very excited and happy to have him on the roster. That's back-to-back games with double-digit assists. I think he only had 4 or 5 points against Robert Morris, but he still managed to throw 12 assists up on the board. And not only is he a very good passer, and in my opinion so far, he's been a pretty elite defender for the most part. And it's definitely something to really see going forward. And I know I'm kind of talking about Wheeler a little bit late in this video. I kind of forgot to bring him up when I was going through the performances for Kentucky Friday night. For some reason, that slipped my mind, but I wanted to go ahead and throw that in there. But, like I said, I think Kentucky will win about 80 to 65, 87 65, give or take in that range. Okay, go ahead and drop your prediction down in the comments for this game. If you like this video, go ahead and drop a like on this video because a little love does go a long way and can really help out the channel. And I'll catch you guys in the next one.